I'm Andrea Ward, a 30-year-old nurse in Atlanta, who's always been the reliable one in my family, the one who works hard, pays her own way, and never complains. But that night at our family party in Decatur, everything snapped. The room was buzzing with laughter as my sister unwrapped her gift, holding up that shiny new iPhone 17 Pro Max like a trophy, grinning ear to ear. "This is amazing!" she squealed, showing it off to everyone. That's when I couldn't hold back anymore. I asked why she always gets the best while I get overlooked. Before I could finish, my mom spun around and slapped me hard across the face, the sting echoing louder than the music. "You're always so ungrateful," she hissed, her voice cutting through the silence that fell over the room. My sister just stood there, still smiling proudly with her phone in hand, not saying a word. I held back my anger, my cheek burning, and stormed out without another glance. That night, alone in my downtown apartment, I decided enough was enough. I made something public that exposed the truth, and by morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Suddenly, my mom was calling nonstop. My sister was leaving frantic voicemails, and my inbox was flooded with desperate messages. They weren't just worried they were losing control. They wished they had never treated me that way. And trust me, what they did next will make you question who they really are. Drop your city and the time down below. I want to see where in the world people are about to witness this family meltdown. A week later, I sat alone in my downtown Atlanta apartment. The quiet pressing against me, the sting of Mom's slap lingered. But my sister's smug grin, flaunting her iPhone 17 Pro Max, cut deeper. I pulled an old photo album from the shelf, its pages stiff with neglect. Each picture was a reminder of years I'd tried to forget. My 14th birthday stared back a cheap cake, my smile forced under dim lights. Next page, my sister's 18th at a Buckhead steakhouse. Her custom cake gleaming, Mom fussing over her new earrings. My high school graduation photo showed me alone, cap crooked, because Mom and Dad were at her dance showcase. Their note, tucked in the album, read work part-time for college expenses. Her design school letter had their scrawl, "We're so proud. Focus on your art." My hands shook as I flipped through. I'd scraped by on a University of Georgia scholarship, working 20 hours weekly at a clinic for $12 an hour. My student loan still sat at $28,000. Her tuition $40,000 a year, plus $15,000 for a New York summer was fully paid. My rent, $1,400 for a one-bedroom with spotty heat, stretched me thin. Her midtown loft, $2,800, was bankrolled by Mom and Dad. I opened my laptop, the blog I'd posted that night, raw with truth about the slap and being sidelined, had exploded across Atlanta's community boards, church groups, neighborhood chats. My phone buzzed with Mom's calls and my sister's voicemails, their voices sharp with worry. I ignored them, typing instead. I poured out every overlooked birthday, every dismissed milestone, my words sharp and unapologetic. I hit publish. No hesitation. Views climbed fast, thousands by morning. A text from my uncle lit up my screen. "You're doing the right thing, kid." I exhaled, tension easing. At Emory University Hospital, my friend grabbed me during a break. "Your blog's everywhere," she whispered, eyes bright. "People are talking. My aunt in Decatur even shared it." Her hand squeezed mine, steadying me. That night, I drove to Piedmont Park, needing air. I sat watching the city hum, my phone buzzing again. Mom's voicemail was curt. "This needs to stop." I deleted it. My sister texted, "You're making us look bad." I left it unread. Their stress wasn't my problem anymore. Back home, I dug out more proof: an email from Dad refusing my apartment deposit, claiming tight finances. That same month, they'd funded her car. I saved the files, my resolve hardening. The next day, my friend met me at a coffee shop near the hospital. "Your blog's hitting people hard," she said, stirring her drink. "Folks are sharing their own stories." I nodded, surprised by the weight of strangers' support. By week's end, my blog had 10,000 views. Comments flooded in. "I've been there." One read, "Keep speaking out." My uncle called, voice warm. "They're feeling the heat now," he said. I thanked him, my chest lighter. The truth was out, and I wasn't turning back. 2 weeks later, I was done playing the dutiful daughter. My phone lit up with a text from my sister, Lindsay, asking me to help her move into her new midtown condo. "Mom and Dad are swamped," she wrote, as if I owed her my weekend. I stared at the message, memories of her smug grin at the family party flashing back. "Sorry, I'm busy," I texted, my fingers steady. Her reply came fast. "Seriously, you're being selfish." I set the phone down, her words bouncing off me. I wasn't her errand girl anymore. I signed up for a painting class at a local Atlanta studio, something I'd always wanted but never prioritized. The first session, I dipped my brush into bright acrylics, letting bold strokes on canvas drown out years of resentment. My instructor, a wiry woman with gray streaks, nodded at my work. "You've got a knack for this," she said, her voice warm. I smiled, feeling a spark of pride I hadn't known in years. I also started therapy, meeting Dr. Harris weekly at a quiet office near Emory University Hospital. "You're allowed to say no," she told me during our first session. Her tone calm but firm. "Your family's expectations don't define your worth." I nodded, her words sinking in, untangling the knot of guilt I'd carried for decades. Each session peeled back layers, helping me see how long I'd been invisible to them. Meanwhile, my blog was spreading like wildfire across Atlanta's social circles. Church groups debated it, co-workers whispered about it during shifts, and local forums lit up with shares. My phone buzzed constantly. Mom's calls, now twice daily. Her voicemails clipped. "We need to fix this." Lindsay's texts grew desperate. "You're embarrassing us." I ignored them all, letting their urgency pile up unanswered. The community's response was different. Strangers left comments like, "Your story's mine too." Their support felt like armor. One evening, my friend Brandy pulled me aside at the hospital. "Your blog's got people shook," she said, her eyes gleaming. "My neighbor said it's the talk of her book club." I laughed, surprised by how much it meant. She leaned closer. "You're changing things. Andrea, keep going." Her encouragement fueled me, a reminder I wasn't alone. I got a call from Uncle Jerry that night, his voice gruff but kind. "Folks are siding with you," he said. "Your mom's getting flack at her women's group." I pictured Mom, usually poised, squirming under scrutiny. It felt like justice, small but real. "You're stronger than they think," he added. I thanked him, my resolve sharpening. At my next painting class, I worked on a canvas of jagged red lines, channeling years of being overlooked into every stroke. A classmate, a quiet guy in his 40s, glanced over. "That's powerful," he said. I nodded, realizing I was painting my truth. "Therapy helped too," Dr. Harris asked. "What do you owe them?" I paused, then answered, "Nothing." The word felt like freedom. By the end of the month, my blog hit 15,000 views. Comments kept pouring in, some from people I'd never met, sharing their own stories of family neglect. Mom left another voicemail, her tone softer but still demanding. "Let's talk." "Andrea." I deleted it. Lindsay's latest text read, "This is too much." I didn't respond. Their world was unraveling, and I was just getting started. 3 months later, I stood taller at Emory University Hospital, my new badge reading nurse manager. The promotion came after months of leading late-night shifts, my patient care stats catching the eye of the hospital's board. My supervisor, Aaron, handed me the news with a rare grin. "You've earned this, Andrea," she said, her voice steady. The raise $10,000 more a year meant I could finally breathe easier. Maybe even save for something bigger, for the first time. I felt my work mattered. Outside the hospital, I'd started seeing Sean Cole, a software engineer Brandy introduced me to at a staff mixer. He was calm, thoughtful, the kind of guy who listened when I talked about my painting classes. Over coffee at a Virginia Highland cafe, he'd laugh at my stories about messy hospital shifts, his eyes crinkling. "You're tougher than you look," he said once, and I believed him. Our date's simple hikes, late-night tacos were a quiet escape from my family's chaos. Then Mom called, her voice tight with something new. "Your father's business is struggling," she said, skipping her usual lecture. "The real estate market's tanked, and we're stretched thin." I stayed silent, waiting. She cleared her throat. "We could use some help with Lindsay's rent, just temporary." I pictured her midtown loft, the one they'd funded without a second thought. "I can't," I said flatly. "My budget's for my own goals now." Her pause was heavy. Then she hung up. A week later, Dad emailed, his tone unusually soft. "Family steps up for family," he wrote, asking for a loan to cover their mortgage. I read it twice, my jaw tight. They'd never stepped up for my rent or loans, but now they needed me. "I'm not in a position to help," I replied. My words firm, no excuses, no apologies. His response never came. Lindsay texted next, her message blunt. "You're really not helping. We're in trouble." I remembered her standing silent when Mom slapped me, her iPhone gleaming. "Figure it out," I texted back, my fingers steady. She didn't reply, but I knew she was reeling. Their world had always revolved around her, now it was crumbling. At work, Erin pulled me aside after a shift. "Heard about your family's business woes," she said. Her brow furrowed. "You okay?" I nodded, grateful for her concern. "I'm focusing on me," I said. And she squeezed my shoulder. "Good for you." That night, Sean took me to a gallery opening. My latest painting, a swirl of blues and golds on display. He raised a glass to me, his smile warm. "This is your moment," he said. I felt it. To a life I was building, piece by piece. My family's calls kept coming, each one more strained. Mom's latest voicemail hinted at selling their Decatur house. "We just need a little support," she said, her voice wavering. I deleted it, my heart steady. They'd built this mess. Not me. I wasn't their safety net anymore. 6 months later, I stepped into the Decatur Community Center for Cousin Jamie's engagement party, Sean by my side. The room buzzed with relatives, but my eyes locked on Mom, her smile tight as she mingled. Lindsay stood nearby, her designer dress clinging, the iPhone 17 Pro Max still in her hand like a badge. I clutched a folder of documents, emails, bank statements, proof of their favoritism, my heart steady but racing. Mom spotted me, her face stiffening. "Andrea, you came?" she said, her voice thin, trying to play the perfect host. I nodded, no warmth in my gaze. Lindsay approached, her eyes darting. "Can we talk privately?" she asked, her tone low. I shook my head. "No more secrets," I said, loud enough for nearby cousins to turn. I opened the folder, pulling out a printed email from Dad, denying my rent help while funding Lindsay's loft. Another showed their payment for her New York trip, sent the same week they claimed tight budgets for me. "This is 30 years of being pushed aside," I said, my voice clear, holding up the papers. Gasps rippled through the room. Lindsay's face flushed. "Andrea, stop," she hissed, but her voice cracked. You knew, I shot back. You benefited from it. Mom stepped forward, her hands twisting. You're airing family business, she snapped. But her usual confidence wavered under the crowd's stares. You made it public when you slapped me, I said, my words cutting. I turned to the room, raising my phone. It's all online now, I announced, uploading the scanned documents to my blog. Notifications pinged instantly, shares, comments, the truth spreading faster than before. Lindsay grabbed my arm, her eyes wide. I didn't mean to hurt you, she said, her voice breaking. I saw it, but I didn't stop it. Her admission hung heavy, but it changed nothing. Mom's face paled as whispers grew, relatives, neighbors, even Jamie's fiancé's family exchanging looks. You should have thought about that before, I said, pulling away. Sean squeezed my hand, his presence grounding. You did what you needed to, he whispered. I nodded, feeling the weight of eyes on us. Mom tried again, her voice low. We're family. Andrea. This isn't right. I met her gaze, unflinching. Family doesn't choose one child over another, I said. The room felt smaller, the air thick with tension. As we left, I overheard a cousin mutter. Mary's out of the women's group for sure, another said. Lindsay's not getting invites anymore. Their social standing, so carefully built, was collapsing under the truth. I walked out with Sean, the folder lighter in my hands, but my resolve heavier than ever. I turned the key to my new downtown Atlanta condo, the lock clicking with a satisfying snap. Months of overtime at Emory University Hospital, plus my nurse manager raise, had secured a down payment of $15,000. I stepped inside, hardwood floors catching the sunlight, a space built entirely by my effort. Free from family strings, my paintings hung proudly, bold colors marking a confidence I'd earned. A local gallery had picked 3 pieces for a spring showcase, my first leap into Atlanta's art world. At the opening, Brandy cheered as I stood by my work, her hug tight. You're owning this, she said, beaming. Sean rested a hand on my shoulder, his voice low. This is only the beginning. I nodded, feeling the weight of my own progress. Mom's life, meanwhile, was unraveling. Her Decatur women's group had frozen her out. My blog's revelations turning allies into distant acquaintances. She left a voicemail, her tone brittle. People are judging us. Andrea, come to dinner. Let's fix this. I erased it, unmoved. I wasn't stepping back into their world. Lindsay was sinking too. Her marketing career stalled. And without Mom and Dad's cash, she'd taken a retail job at a mall, scraping by on minimum wage. Her text was almost pitiful. Can we talk? I need help. I saw her iPhone flashing at the party, her silence deafening. I'm not free, I replied, my words cold. She didn't write back. At work. Erin caught me during a shift change. You're thriving, she said, her smile genuine. I admitted I was building something new. My painting classes kept me grounded. Each canvas a release. A classmate bought my latest piece, a vivid abstract. For her home. It's got soul, she said. I felt visible for my work. Not their drama. Uncle Jerry called, his tone steady but proud. Your mom's losing her place, he said. She's not welcome at meetings anymore. I pictured Mom, her social armor cracked. They chose this, I said, my voice even. He agreed quietly. You're standing tall. His words were a quiet anchor. I framed a $1 bill in my condo's entryway, a symbol of my independence, not their neglect. Mom tried calling again, her message short. We're selling our house. I didn't answer. Lindsay's social media went dark. Her glamorous posts replaced by silence. Their lives were fraying, but I wasn't their savior. From my balcony, I watched Atlanta's skyline shimmer, My condo a testament to a life I'd carved out alone. I wasn't looking back to their mess. I opened my laptop to write the final chapter of my story. The Atlanta skyline glowing outside my condo's window. My life had transformed nurse manager at Emory, a growing art portfolio. Sean by my side. My paintings sold steadily now. Each sale a step toward a future I'd built alone. I was happy. Grounded in a world that finally saw me for me. Mom and Lindsay, though, were fading into their own consequences. Mom's social circle indicator had all but vanished. Her name dropped from community boards after my blog exposed their favoritism. She called one last time. Her voice hollow. Andrea, we're struggling. Please. I let it go to voicemail, deleting it without a reply. She'd chosen Lindsay over me for 30 years. Her isolation was her own making. Lindsay's life had unraveled too. Her retail job barely paid the bills. Her midtown loft swapped for a cramped apartment shared with roommates. Her last message begged, "I'm sorry. Andrea, can we meet?" I saw her smug grin from that party, her silence when Mom slapped me. "No," I texted back. My heart unmoved. Their apologies came too late, empty, without change. Brandy met me for coffee, her eyes bright. "You're inspiring people," she said, showing me comments on my blog from strangers who'd faced similar neglect. Sean nodded, his hand brushing mine. "You're unstoppable," he said. Their support anchored me, a contrast to the family I'd left behind. At work, Erin handed me an award for leadership, my colleagues clapping. "You're a role model," she said. I smiled, thinking of a young nurse who'd approached me, her voice shaky, sharing how her family dismissed her. "Set boundaries," I told her, passing on what I'd learned. "Your worth isn't their approval." I sat down to write my final blog post. Pouring out the lesson carved from pain. Self-respect means refusing to accept unfair treatment. Actions have consequences, and those who choose favoritism will face their own fallout. I wrote about cutting ties, not out of anger, but to protect my peace. "Family isn't a free pass to hurt you," I typed. "You deserve to be seen." I hit publish. Watching views climb 20,000 and counting. Comments flooded in. "This changed how I see my family. Thank you for your courage." Uncle Jerry texted. His words, "Simple, proud of you." I replied with a thank you. The only family tie I kept. Mom and Dad's house sold. Their new address a small rental on Atlanta's outskirts. Lindsay's posts stayed silent. Her old life a memory. They regretted their choices. But I offered no forgiveness. Their world broke because they built it on imbalance. From my balcony, I watched the city pulse, my condo a fortress of my own making. I'd once begged for their love. Now I knew my value didn't need their validation. To anyone watching, I ask, when did you realize you deserved better? Your story matters, share it, because speaking your truth can change everything.